Hello friends, my name is Ryan. I'm going to tell you a story named The Dunblane Massacre, a tragic school shooting in Scotland, which is a very amazing story full of twists. So, let's start. It was a cold and misty morning in the small town of Dunblane, nestled in the heart of Scotland. The town's charm lay in its tranquility, where everyone knew everyone, and life moved at its own slow, comforting pace. The central hub of this peaceful community was the primary school, a place filled with laughter, innocence, and the promise of a bright future. But sometimes, the most serene places hide the darkest shadows. This story isn't just about what happened that day, it's about the lives affected, the eerie warnings, and the chilling aftermath. The morning began like any other. The school's corridors echoed with the sounds of children's laughter. Teachers prepared their lessons, and parents hurriedly dropped off their kids before heading to work. Among them was little Sarah, an 8-year-old with a bubbly personality and a love for drawing. She carried her favorite red sketchbook everywhere. That day, she had drawn a picture of the sun shining brightly over her school. But as the morning progressed, something felt off. Mrs. MacLeod, a teacher with an uncanny ability to sense trouble, noticed a man lingering near the school gates. He wore a long coat and had a strange, unreadable expression. At first, she dismissed it as paranoia. After all, this was Dunblane, nothing bad ever happened here. Unbeknownst to everyone, that man was Thomas Hamilton, a former scout leader with a troubled past. He had a reputation in the town, whispers of his erratic behavior and disturbing tendencies. Yet, no one could have imagined the horror he was about to unleash. As the clock struck 9:30 a.m., Hamilton entered the school's gymnasium. The gym was alive with the cheerful energy of a class of 5-year-olds participating in their morning activities. Little feet pounded on the wooden floor as their laughter filled the room. Hamilton, however, didn't come to join in their joy. He carried with him 4 legally owned firearms and over 700 rounds of ammunition. The first gunshot shattered the peaceful morning like a thunderclap. Panic ensued as the children and their teacher tried to make sense of the chaos. Screams replaced laughter, and in an instant, the gym became a scene of unimaginable terror. Hamilton showed no mercy. His actions were calculated, cold, and relentless. Meanwhile, Mrs. MacLeod, who had been in a nearby classroom, froze as the sound of gunfire reached her ears. Her instincts kicked in, and she quickly barricaded her door, urging her students to hide under their desks. She whispered reassurances to them, though her own heart pounded in terror. Outside, the community was beginning to realize something was terribly wrong. Parents who had dropped off their children moments earlier rushed back to the school, only to be held back by police cordons. The entire town seemed to hold its breath as news spread of the carnage unfolding inside. Amid the chaos, there was a moment of eerie silence in the gym. Hamilton, perhaps realizing the magnitude of his actions, turned one of his guns on himself and ended his life. The nightmare was over, but the scars it left behind would remain forever. When the police finally entered the gym, they were met with a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Survivors were few, and the sheer scale of the tragedy was overwhelming. The lives of 16 children and their teacher were lost that day. Each victim had a story, a dream, a future that was cruelly snatched away. The aftermath of the Dunblane massacre shook Scotland and the world. Vigils were held, tears were shed, and questions were asked. How could this happen? Why wasn't it prevented? The town's grief was immeasurable, but amidst the sorrow emerged a sense of unity and determination. Parents of the victims, along with community members, spearheaded a movement for stricter gun control laws. Their voices were heard, and the tragedy led to significant changes in firearm legislation in the UK, ensuring such an event would never happen again. But the story doesn't end there. For years, whispers circulated about Hamilton's motives. Some believed he had been wronged by the community, while others speculated about deeper psychological issues. There were also chilling accounts from those who had crossed paths with him before the massacre, tales of unsettling encounters and ignored red flags. In the quiet corners of Dunblane, where the gymnasium once stood, there is now a memorial garden. It's a place of reflection, a tribute to the innocent lives lost. Every year, On the anniversary of the tragedy, the town comes together to remember and honor those who were taken too soon. The garden centerpiece is a stone monument engraved with the names of the victims, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. As I finish this story, I'd like to leave you with a thought. While the Dunblane Massacre is a tale of unimaginable sorrow, it's also a story of resilience, unity, and the power of a community to rise above its darkest hour. It reminds us to value the people we hold dear and to stand up for change when it's needed. If you found this story gripping and want to hear more tales like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay safe and cherish the moments that make life beautiful.